Mike, thanks so much for joining me. Thank you so much for building our friendship over the last year. And obviously, even before that, with all the work that we've done with together with Bill C-69. I'm grateful for how our relationship has transpired. And now with this amazing opportunity for AEG benefits for our members, I'm also grateful for that and your reach out and suggestion that we do this. Obviously, today is all about some questions that I'll ask you so that our members can hear what you believe the benefits are with your amazing organization and how it will benefit them and maybe even how we can roll it out. So looking forward to our discussion. Thank you again for joining me.
Catherine, pleasure to be with you today and to partner with you in a new way, our next stage of this great partnership, and looking forward to serving you and your members and looking forward to chatting today.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Tell us all about ICBA. Give us the details.
Yeah, so ICBA has a 50-year, almost 50-year, I think it's our 49th anniversary this year. So next year will be the 50th anniversary of ICBA in British Columbia. And over that time, it has grown and morphed to the point now where they provide benefits and services to 4,000 members and clients across the country, representing 150,000 lives. It's an amazing story, and we're proud to bring that story to Alberta. Part of that story isn't just benefits, though. It's also being an association like yourselves, advocating for our members and their interests that happen to be open shop construction companies. And so we work hard for them, providing training and wellness, speaking up on their behalf to the governments in Alberta and British Columbia, and supporting our network of open shop associations across the country, better known as Merit. We are on the board of Merit Canada, and we're the Merit representative for Alberta. And we also provide the benefits for the Merit construction companies across the rest of the country. So it's a fantastic platform, and we're happy to roll out these association partnerships like we have with you. In Alberta, we're really just a baby association. We're now being, as an association, a year here in Alberta, almost a year. I was brought on in January of this year, but yeah, it's super exciting. And we've just purchased land, or not just land, but a building for our new office here in Calgary in the Eau Claire area. Very excited about that as well. And, while we've only been here a year as an association, we have been providing benefits for Albertans for over almost a decade now. So on the benefits side, we have a longer track record, but we're proud to be here as an association and work together with the other free market associations like AEG to provide services and support for businesses in Alberta.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mike. What a great opportunity for all of us. So you're an association and you sell health benefits. How are you different than the other health benefit organizations or providers?
Right. Well, there's two parts to that. First, just strictly on the benefits side, most benefits providers are brokers. Obviously some organizations are big enough that they work directly with Sun Life or Canada Life, but most people work through a broker. And we have that element to us. One way in which we're different than other brokers is, first of all, we're a nonprofit. So all the profits generated from our business go back to serving our members, or in the case of an association partnership with AEG, we share revenue with you guys. And that enables you to fund the great services and products that you provide to your members. We also do the same for ours through the exact same model. So instead of funding some broker's villa in Palm Springs or Hawaii, you're funding advocacy papers and government relations and training and amazing events like the amazing events AEG puts on. That's all getting funded through a product that is as good as or often better than the industry standard. And so that is a huge difference. That's actually a very important difference. Of course, another part is that whole nonprofit side, is we do provide a whole bunch of other benefits and services. Like we do training for our members, construction-focused training for construction industry, Gold Seal training. We do advocacy together with AEG. We're so proud to intervene against C-69 and waiting for that decision. At the time of our podcast, it hasn't come out yet. Maybe when this is any day now, maybe the announcement will come out, and we'll be super proud to partner with you to stand up for Alberta's incredible oil and gas industry and all the benefits it provides to Albertans and Canadians. We were proud to do that in British Columbia. As a large association in British Columbia, probably the largest there and one of the largest in Canada, we stood up for Trans Mountain in British Columbia. We stood up for Canada GasLink, and the LNG project, major projects like Site C. In the face of huge opposition, we recognize the benefits that those projects provide to British Columbians and to all Canadians. And on behalf of the Alberta oil and gas industry, fought for them in British Columbia. That's the kind of things that our benefits business does. And a lot of people say, how do you guys do so much? It's because we have an amazing benefits platform that we proudly share with other associations who have a common vision. Now, those are the main distinctives between us and what other insurance companies do that? None. They just don't. They cannot afford to, because they're worried about upsetting people. We're not worried about upsetting because we have a clear vision and mission, and we're proud to stand up.
I love it. And thank you for your service to all the organizations that are proud to stand up. I appreciate that. And in that vein, then, with that great funding that you do with ICBA, with AEG and others, why would our AEG members care about high quality group health benefits?
Yeah, on top of all the great things that AEG does, and why they, of course, are already members of yours because they believe in your mission. And if they believe in that mission, they should want it to prosper, and we're proud to help with that. But on top of all of those things we've already discussed, group health benefits are needed more than ever because of one of the biggest challenges everyone is facing, and that's retaining and recruiting workers. If you don't have a solid group health benefits plan, your workers will go somewhere that does. Mm-hmm. So let's make sure your members have a gold seal program that's going to attract and retain the great workers they do have, and recruit the workers they need to expand and get the work done. Mm-hmm. So that's a very important aspect, and group health benefits can do that in many different ways. We're proud to offer free review services, so we can come in, look at somebody's program and say, actually, you know what? You're really well covered. You've got good things here, here, here. Maybe you could use a little bit of improvement here, but we don't see a need for you to change necessarily. You could just go back to your current provider and just ask for these little switches. More often than not, though, we have to admit we find some major problems there. And so from a labor relations and human resources side of things, you want to do this to recruit and retain. But from a business side, you also want to make sure you're spending and getting value for money. And so we provide that benefits review process to make sure you are getting good return on investment, you're being well served. And there are times, there's a certain percentage, I'm not sure if it's 50% of the time, it's probably more like close to 25% of the time, we find out that you've actually got a good benefits plan, in which case we recommend staying with it. Don't go through the change process, because you're getting good value for money, maybe just with a tweak here and there. Mm-hmm. But often, sadly, we find for-profit companies are making profit off of you. And sometimes you could find better ways of getting what you're getting. So first of all, you want a benefits plan to retain and recruit workers. And secondly, from a business standpoint, you want to make sure that that's an efficient process, that you're getting good return on investment. Perhaps most importantly, however, is that now more than ever, the workers we do have are going through a lot of struggles, both physical and mental. And your benefits plan is designed to help them through that. Yes, it will help them retain and recruit workers. That's totally true. More importantly, it helps you be a good employer and help your workers be healthy physically and mentally. And more than ever, group health programs are providing the mental health programs that workers need. Some of them are called employee assistance programs, EAPs. These are first level psychology, counseling, and other services. They basically just help evaluate and get people out of a crisis situation. And then they move them on to your regular benefits plan. Many benefits plans now have 5, 6, sometimes 800,000. Some programs are even now $2,000 a year in counseling services, which we know, especially going through COVID and all the stresses that caused, is more important than ever. So caring about your workers, doing right by them, and having a program that supports them both mentally and physically is critically important, just from a human dignity standpoint. Let alone, by doing that, you'll create a great bond between your workers and the employer, help them stay and appreciate that you are a good employer, providing for them and helping them get through there. A good benefits program will also help people be healthy. And we know that healthy workers are more productive. If they're stressed, physically or mentally, they're not going to be able to focus on their work. If their back's out of whack and they can't go to a chiropractor to get that taken care of, they're not going to do as good a job as if they don't have that pain. And so benefits programs are actually increase productivity among workers as well. So these are all great reasons to have a group health benefits program. 1, support the industry that you're in because it's a nonprofit. 2, retain and recruit workers. And 3, be that employer that helps your employees be the best they can be by being healthy mentally and physically.
I love it, Mike. Thank you. Great reasons. Over the years, I know that you and your team have had many questions from potential members or other companies that are at least investigating the next steps. What are some of the commonly asked questions that some of the companies may have out of the gate that maybe our AEG members might also feel that same way?
Yeah, that's a great point, Catherine. There are some standard questions. So we'll work through these one by one. One of them is, what kinds of benefit plans should a company offer? And, as we were talking about, of course, having group health benefits is just 80% of the problem, having some plan. Now, each company is going to need something different based on your workforce. In construction, we have a lot of workers who have a week or 2 off, or sometimes even months between jobs. We have a particular program called a hour bank program that works customized for those kinds of workers. But that plan might not work for a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday organization, in which case we have custom plans. And a big advantage with the ICBA program, unlike some of our competitors, is all of our salespeople and all of our client relations people are licensed. What this means, that together with our massive buying power, with over 150,000 people under our programs, we can go to one insurance provider who does life insurance really well, and we can put that as part of the program. We can go to another insurance provider who maybe does, the dental and extended health, and bring that in. And we can piece together all the best of all the different providers and customize a program that fits every company best. I will say that some of these programs are pre-built. And when you do that, you're buying into a pool. When you buy into a pool, like our Hour Bank, for instance, has tens of thousands of people into it, that prevents a lot of the cost fluctuations. For instance, if you are a company that has 5 workers and one of your workers needs a prescription that's $10,000, $20,000 a year, well, your rates are going to go through the roof because that $20,000 needs to be divided by 5 paying employees. That's huge. But what if you could be part of a pool of thousands or tens of thousands of people that's distributed on the averages and keeps your costs much more in control? And so we can invite people into those predefined pools. You have less flexibility, but you have more cost certainty and less worry about fluctuations in rates. On the other side, we have the ability to customize for people based on their needs for their particular company and context. So I can't say specifically what kind of program until somebody comes to us and presents their situation. But that's what that review we were talking about, that free review that talks about whether they're getting ROI, is also looking at the program and looking at whether or not it's suiting the needs and goals and objectives that that company has.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Thank you. Excellent. Any other questions that members may have?
Yeah. Well, we already talked about a review, because another program is what if, some people say, what if my company is already getting a good deal? Well, my question is, how would you know? And that's what that review does, is we review and make sure you are. Now, if you are getting a good deal, we're proud to say, and this is the advantage of being not a for-profit driven industry, we're a member driven association. And when we partner with AEG, we work on behalf of the interest of your members. And if it's not in the interest of your members to change, That's not in our interest.
Mm.
So that's one advantage of we like building trust through that, being that member-driven side. Some people though just say, okay, so now we've realized our current benefits plan isn't serving us as well, and we like one of the products that you're offering us. Isn't it difficult to change? Like, what a big headache. And you know what? I'm going to be straight up. It can be, but this is the advantage of being a big organization. We have almost 70 staff now, the majority of whom are dedicated to client and customer relations. And what I mean by that is the client is the company. Let's say it's company X, Bob's Welding, or Susan's refrigeration, or whatever. That's the company. We work together with them to design the program. But more than that, we've got something like 40, 50 staff helping and assisting your workers. So your workers have a problem. They call Sun Life. Sun Life doesn't answer it. We've got somebody who will make sure that that gets answered and solved.
Good.
So we have a huge team to resolve. And when you switch over from one benefits plan to another one, yeah, there are speed bumps, but we know that and can anticipate these things. Usually it's around somebody having a unique prescription of some sort. And when you switch providers, the new provider goes, this is an unusual prescription. Well, we ask you those questions ahead of time, and we get pre-approval so that when you switch over, it's seamless, or as seamless as possible.
Good.
So I want to acknowledge to those who might consider switching over, yeah, there's speed bumps, and we have a plan on how to minimize those. The question is that worth tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars for you, which is the savings we often see companies have.
Wow.
We can hammer it out. And a related question a lot of people say is, what about increases? In the past, we signed on to a benefits program because they promised us 20% savings, and we got those 20% savings in the first year, but in the second year, our rates went up 25%. And I said, be careful about too good of a deal. It probably is.
Yeah.
We tend not to offer those massive savings because we're straight up with people. We want a sustainable plan. We do believe that we can offer savings in certain circumstances, but that part of those savings, as modest as they might be or humble, it's because we also are planning not to have massive increases. And I think the last I reviewed the numbers, again, I'm a year into this organization, so I rely on my coworkers on what's the last 10 and 15 years look like. And we're looking at something about a 15% increase over 10 years. That's 1.5% per year. That's less than inflation.
Wow.
So there are some, and of course that depends on the plan. That's probably more in the pooled plans that have been managed on a larger scale. Individual plans are harder to manage that way because it's based on the usage of those employees within that company.
Mm-hmm.
Our point is, a lot of people have a question about, what is the transition like? And when I transition, our rates going to go up and down? Those can be managed. Part of it is helping your employees be healthy. And if they're healthy, then they use the benefit plan less, and then the benefit plan costs you less. Whereas if you have people who aren't taking care of themselves and they use the plan more, your plan will be more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a relationship on both sides, and we're not going to promise to be the silver bullet. We're promised to be good partners that work alongside you to manage the plans well for the long term and have that long-term relationship.
Love it.
Yeah, and a lot of the question is, how big is the team? I've mentioned that I think we're at 67 staff now with hirings on a regular basis. So we'll be up by 70 probably by the end of the year. So a large staff ready to handle almost any problem that a potential client could have.
Okay.
Another question people come up with is the plan available to all companies, regardless of their labor affiliation? And I'll be honest with you, a lot of the associations we work with are construction associations, and I'm not as familiar outside of construction how big of an issue, but in construction, there are different labor models. There's the old school unions, there's the non-union sector who we generally work with, and then there's the newer alternative unions. And that, I know that doesn't parallel outside, but for those companies who have a unionized workforce, we do work with those companies, usually providing benefits for their office staff and their administration who aren't on the union. Mm-hmm. It's true, unions almost always provide the benefits to their workers so that the employer does not need to. but the management are not covered under the union plan. So in those situations, we do have very solid office and administration plans, management plans.
Okay.
But if you don't have a unionized workforce, then absolutely we are in the mix of the people you want to be looking to. And as I mentioned, there's that hour bank model and all those other models.
Excellent.
Along the same lines is the question about retirement plans. Yes, we do offer retirement plans. We tend not to call them pension plans because those words have literal and legal meanings. We provide group RSP solutions. I have to say that the request for pension plans is increasing, and I believe the team, our executive team, are looking about how we can help organizations with that. But yes, we have retirement plan options, and they're really good. We provide our own, and I myself am on ICBA's retirement plan option. So those plans are there. They're really good, and we can offer those. Pretty much any option on the benefit side that are there, we can help with.
Good.
Another question, Catherine, some people bring up is whether or not employees that have to deal with giant insurance companies, they're worried about, oh man, we just don't like that. And that's why we have all those staff, because we recognize that's a problem. So we aren't like a broker, for instance, doesn't answer that. They just like, okay, now you're working with Sunlight, go talk to them. No, we are here every step of the way for anything, any question that comes up, we're ready to help with that.
Excellent.
So I think those are some of the standard plans. Let me just review. I just took some notes here. Yeah, I think those are some of the standard questions. Of course, Catherine, people are going to have other ones. We're ready to help you and your team answer any of your members' questions they might have about benefits.
Thank you, Mike. What do you think are next steps? Now, I know you've got Member Spotlight coming up, and we look forward to that. That'll certainly be recorded too. Is there anything else in terms of a next steps for everyone?
Yeah, well, Catherine, just before we started our chat today, we were talking about the progress that we're making with our respective communications and marketing teams. Very shortly, the Alberta Enterprise Group Insurance Plan. Forgive me, what is the title? Remind me of the title of the plan it's going to be again.
AEG Benefits.
AEG Benefits website is going to be up and running very shortly, hopefully within the week. So that will be a link that I'm sure your team will send out as I get your notice as well. They're always so professional, informative, and helpful. And so I'm sure in that same manner, the link will be announced and be sent out to everybody to follow up with that. All the information your members need will be on that website. An email will also, of course, go out with links and contact information on where to follow up. But in general, if people are at all curious, sign up for the free review. It costs you no money. It does cost some time. And what that review process is basically providing us the details of your existing plan so that we can go through that and review and line by line, for instance, do you have enough dental coverage? Is it scheduled on the proper way? Like they get into crazy detail. I'm not a licensed benefits person, so I will not be involved in that section, but man, our people are so good. And they will caringly and respectfully go through that material with you. So sign up for the review process.
Exactly.
Make sure that the benefits you have are up to snuff. And if they're not, let us propose something to you that's going to solve your solution. So that's really the next step, is wait for that website, an email, and then sign up for a review process.
I love it. And I'll just say my 2 cents around this. I think that we should be auditing all of our situations for all of our benefits, et cetera, on an annual basis anyhow. It should be a regular practice, whether somebody else is doing it or we're doing it internally.
Catherine, I can't tell you, it's such a surprise to me now being on the other side. So I worked for organizations. I was never in charge of our benefits plans. So I don't know those organizations, but it's now on the other side as somebody who provides benefits, going to companies. They haven't reviewed their benefits plan in 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
They do not have a clue. And maybe somebody 10 years ago who doesn't even work for the organization set something up and they're doing it. Nobody asks a question. Also, they goes, we do what? We pay how much?
Yeah.
Businesses are needing to scrap for every penny. This benefits can be anywhere from 3 to 8% of your bottom line. Let's make sure you're getting good return on investment.
I love it. Mike, thank you so much for this opportunity to partner in this way. And thanks for all the good work that you're doing and the impact you make. I'm grateful for this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. My pleasure.